a lot of things that a client can do to protect themselves has to do with understanding their own business first. So you should have an understanding about your margins. So if you're going to engage in an advertising campaign, there's a number of things you want to look at when looking at a potential property to advertise. You want to know, number one, you have to know about your product, the margins you have, and if you're an e-commerce business, which more and more are selling online, and so you're having people go directly from that site or that platform to your site, you want to make sure that your site is properly set up to handle that business, that it's easy for people to say yes, which means you want to have a good landing page, for example, if you're doing digital. And even if you're doing a radio offer that's a push to web where the radio announcer is pushing to a website, you want to make sure that you're properly prepared for those customers. It's no different than having a good location or a good storefront. People are going to walk by, and you want to incentivize them to kind of come on in, and when they do come in, you want to make sure they buy. And so you want to know this information. You want to know what your margins are. You want to know how much of your products you need to sell to break even. And if you've been doing business long enough, you should know things like lifetime value of your customer. Maybe you don't make your money back immediately that day from the ad that ran, but you might know that across the board, most customers will buy within, if you start them down a path, will buy, within the next week. Or if you're selling a product which has, multiple options, the average order value is they're going to buy 6 or 7 widgets. And so every time you get a sale, on average, it's worth this much, and of that much, how much of it do you get to keep? Because you're going to need that information to assess whether or not you can afford the advertising. And then you're going to measure that against the rate. And it's all a math equation. And so it's different for every business. So the person you work with, you want to make sure that you ask the right questions of your sales rep. And so you want to know what the rate is. You want to know what the audience size is. You want to know what the CPM is. If you're buying dedicated emails, you want to know what the open rates are. Average click-through rates don't matter as much, mainly because it varies from product to product. You want to know the demographics of your audience and who you're trying to reach so you can pick the right properties. The other thing you want to understand is whether or not your product translates well on the medium you're choosing. For example, if your product has a lot of visual elements to it, you don't want to advertise maybe on radio. Maybe radio is not the right platform because people need to see it to get it. But if I don't need to see it to get it, maybe radio's good. And then there obviously are products that do very well online. And so you need to be thoughtful in your approach, ask a lot of questions, and then hopefully you're working with an honest rep, or you can just call me.